evening, everyone. It's a thrill for me to be able to be with you all here this evening at the Hy-Vee Center, knowing full well that you'd much rather be at a high school football playoff game somewhere tonight. So you made a wonderful choice to be able to be here. As I look out at all of you, what I see is the epicenter of hope and change for our country. That's the Republican Party of Iowa, and we're proud of you and thankful that you're here this evening. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I also want to thank the chairman of the party, Matt Strawn, for taking the party to a whole new level. Iowa is showing very strong all across the country, and you've been a wonderful host to each of us who are presidential candidates. It really is a thrill to be able to do this, and the reason why I even decided to come in and enter my name into the presidential election is because of what I saw in the last 5 years when I was in Washington, D.C. I'm 55 years old. The first 50 years of my life were spent in the private sector. The last 5 years was spent being a real person in Washington, D.C. You know, the day that I went into office in January of 2007, the entire national debt was $8.67 trillion. And as Ron Paul told you in his remarks, this week is a historic first. We are tripping the wire, it looks like, right at $15 trillion. Breathtaking, stunning. We all saw the fight that took place this last summer over should we raise the debt ceiling. During that time, the candidates were here this summer. We were meeting with all of you. I was flying back and forth to fight this fight. And when I went back to Washington, I knew what had to be done. Someone had to stand up. Someone had to say no. Someone had to say enough is enough. We had enough revenue coming into the Treasury. We could sufficiently pay the interest on the debt. There was absolutely no need for the country to go into default. We could pay the revenue. We had enough money. What we didn't have enough money for is to continue the absolute insanity of the borrowing. How insane is it? We just found out in October of this year, the month that just finished, that this country added another $203 billion in debt. Now let me give you a comparison. In 2007, the last year that Republicans were in charge of Washington, D.C., the budget deficit for the entire year was something like $160 billion. That's for the year. That's the big spending George Bush and the big spending Republicans in 2007, $160 billion. Compare and contrast that to Barack Obama, $203 billion. And what that means for each one of us, because sometimes we need to break those numbers down, is that for every man, woman, and child in the United States, we're each $650 more in debt that we owe to this government. You see, what we're watching right now is velocity. It's velocity. It's like we're in a canoe coming up to the very edge of Niagara Falls, and it's like the river is moving faster right now. And we're living in a theater of the absurd. When this week Greece had the temerity to say to the EU, who have been kind enough to bail this profligate nation out, that maybe they didn't want to take a haircut, maybe they didn't want to cut back on their spending. The rest of the world looked at Greece and said, are you out of your mind? Take the deal or you go down the drain. So what we need to do right now in the United States is take a really good look in the mirror, because what we've just observed is the trailer for where the United States is going. And over this last summer, when I was the lone voice in the wilderness of Washington saying, stop, no more raising the credit card ceiling, I was the one who was called extreme. But in the midst of all of that discussion, the beat went on, because that's how Washington works. That's why what we need in our nominee for the Republican Party is someone who will stand up and say, stop, no more. Let's hold on to this great, magnificent gift that's never before been seen in the history of mankind. It's this place called liberty. It's this place called the United States of America. There is absolutely nothing like it. Because you see, in this nation, we value each life, each individual life. Because for us, you see, the beginning is the individual. And for us, you see, it is because we are made in the image and likeness of a holy God. What I have seen all across Iowa is what I learned when I was born and raised here in Iowa. It's a deep love and respect for the church and for our faith. It's a deep love and respect for the individual. It's a deep love and respect for our military and for what they have secured and fought and died to give to us. And it's a deep love and abiding respect for the future. And the fact that we believe that the future will go on. You see, I believe that too, because I've been renewed in my hope and love for this nation because of what I saw this summer in Iowa. It was a commitment from all of you and from your fellow men and women in Iowa that we will go on as a nation. And so I have absolutely no doubt, none whatsoever, that Barack Obama will be a one-term president. No doubt whatsoever. But that's good news. But what I also know is that we have to have a commitment that is absolutely grounded in cement, that our nominee will be an individual who will stand strong and make sure there is no compromise with repealing Obamacare 100%. No compromise with repealing Dodd-Frank, the Jobs and Housing Destruction Act 100%. No compromise abolishing the tax code and creating it with a Ronald Reagan-style pro-growth tax code. No compromise with liberty. No compromise. That's America. We've done it before. We'll do it again. And I want to be your nominee for the Republican nomination in 2012. God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Love you all.